Bet you didn't think I would do it. The Odyssey dominates, Alvin is back, and Kratos recasting. All of this and so much more on this episode of Beyond the Screen. Sorry for the really loud speaker busting intro there, but Ryan has said that I get to lead this go around. Is that true, Ryan?
Yeah, so I've had the craziest weekend that's ever existed, and then I cap that with beginning the next week at a conference. But the show must go on. And so I being at a conference, that's why my background's different. That's why I look weird, because I'm not recording my normal setup. I did bring what I have with me, like my mixer and my mic, so I at least sound somewhat good. But the internet connection here is very wonky. So I'm here, I'm going to contribute. You might even have heard me already. I can't tell from my end, but you might hear me spaz out just a little bit. Don't worry, we're fine. But because of that, Jake's illustrious voice, his beautifully soothing baritone is going to lead us today. So Jake, continue.
Well, I guess we usually talk about the past week, but really got nothing besides. I mean, you're the one who's traveling, right? But I don't have much going on. We can.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I can give just a little bit. I don't want to get too deep into the weeds because, like, we spent before recording, we spent like 15 minutes just going over what happened to me. So we went on vacation this past weekend, and long story short, if something could go wrong, it did. We go to a music festival every year. We went. A car broke down 4.5 hours from home. We were like just vomiting a lot because of a random illness, a wave of illness that hit multiple of our party because there were 3 of us that went. Literally everything that could go wrong did in the span of a 72-hour just like event. So it was on top of the we were up in northern Ohio, so the Canadian wildfire smoke was down, and it was just then there was this massive storm that came through. So not only did we travel all the way up there, then everything go wrong. We still had a good time to listen to good music, but then I turned around and drove back to another city in another state to go to a conference. So here I am.
He's here. He's alive. He's
Yahoo.
He's not back yet, but he is somewhere. I'm gonna have to change on YouTube where we recorded this.
I know.
Sometimes I put the state.
Yeah, not this time.
So I guess we get right into it, right? Last week's predictions.
Let's do it.
Believe it or not, everybody did really well. Our predictions for last week are as follows: The Odyssey, Moana, Toy Story 5, Minions and Monsters, and Evil Dead Burn. And would you believe it? Everybody got all of them right. Whoa! It was like, man, it was like one of the hardest weeks, arguably. Everybody's hot on my tail. I am winning, obviously. Isn't that awesome? Put in the comment if you're Team Jake.
Like Twilight, Team Claude.
Yeah. Well, my middle name is also Edward, so like you can be Team Edward too. It doesn't really matter. I'm peddling to the Twilight fans out there. We'll know what you mean. Not really. So basically, yeah, that is the top 5. Sorry. The Odyssey came in first, Moana 2, Toy Story 5 at 3, Minions and Monsters at 4, and Evil Dead Burn at 5. It was kind of one of those things where the Odyssey comes in and it just sweeps and it just moves everybody down. When we first got on, it was still estimated actually at a tie with Toy Story 5 and Minions and Monsters. And we'll get into it later, but it's close. It's close. So
yeah,
Ryan,
if you go back and look at our episode last week, or if you're from the past week, I should say, you'll know that we had this conversation about how tough it was, but it made the most sense. Like, I think I even said, because I felt bad that I had the same as you and TJ, but I was like, it's the right answer. Like, that verbatim, what came out of my mouth is like, this is the right answer. And It was as weird as it was. Like that was it. It only made sense as tough as it was. The thing that made the most logical sense was that everything would slide down because everyone was avoiding the Odyssey. So, and here we are, 5 out of 5. Talk about on your tail. 51 to 49 to 48 is the score about halfway through the season. Isn't that nuts? What a crazy like tight race here. All it takes is one person to have a better week than the other, and we're right back in it with a new leader.
So, all right, yeah, and it's like the Odyssey itself. Everybody's saying that it's what is it, higher format heavy. I actually see a lot more people talking about how it's gonna like absolutely tank next week.
Yeah.
So we'll get into the predictions after what the box office totals are. I believe Ryan did his job and he updated them like I asked.
Of course. You mean the new ones?
Yeah. All the new.
No.
I
apologize.
You did not? Oh
no,
man,
not
Ryan,
in.
come on, man.
I apologize. We can quickly go through.
So the Odyssey debuts at several hundred million. 124 million domestic, 264.1 globally, and it had a $250 million budget, which is also crazy because it was mostly practical, or if not all practical, and so already kind of made its money back, not including marketing, and a lot of people are expecting this to cross the billion mark anyway. So Nolan called and fans responded. The Odyssey earns Nolan his highest domestic opening of his illustrious career, as well as now becoming the biggest live action debut of the year. And we all kind of knew this. Everybody was kind of betting on this being the highest domestic opening of his career across the board. I heard many people say that. And then they doubled back and also said, it's going to tank. It's there. I have seen some people say it's half.
No.
Yeah. So, according to the dailies, the film's catering towards IMAX screens paid off, as nearly 20% of the entirety of the global pull came from premium formats. The film is a 95% on tomato meter and 97% on the popcorn meter. Jake, how do we feel about? I'm kidding. Ryan, how do we feel as the dailies puts it? A 2,700-year-old poem winning the box office.
Yeah, so I mean, for me, it's just the story of Nolan, right? Like that's where we are. This is the story of Christopher Nolan. And something else, like if you don't know the Dailies newsletter, please follow, because Monday, Wednesday, Friday, it's ironic they're called the Dailies and they release 3 times a week, but they compile all the biggest what you should knows, and they just, it's all there. And if you want to do deeper reading, you can. And so like a lot they do help what we do, especially as we're trying to compile. We have our main story, and they kind of do, but they're very quick with it. They made a great point that like you've got companies who in the past 15 years have been focusing heavily on brands, as in like Spider-Man or Batman or whatever, like what have you, right? But instead, you have Universal doing the exact opposite and betting on Nolan as a creator singularly, and it's worked for them at every stage and at every turn. And again, as the lead-in said, Nolan called and fans responded, regardless of hate, regardless of inaccuracies in history, even though it's a fictional text to begin with, right? Which I think is the silliest critique ever. Like, I understand it's supposed to be like a representative of Greece or whatever, or Greek whatever, but it's not real. The Odyssey was never real. So like it's a modern day retelling of a story that was fictional to begin with. So I feel like, again, you have people who want to see a fun fact, like I should say, not necessarily a fun fact, but just a cool fact that, again, was from the dailies. Nearly 20% of revenue from the box office came from premium formats. Do you know how many screens worldwide are formats and IMAX screens? 1%. So 1% of all screens made up for 20% of box office revenue worldwide.
There's people standing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe
they had them things
like
packed. They had them. Yeah. Like, they had to have sold out every scene.
Yeah. And so it's one of those things where it's such a crazy, like, once in a lifetime experience. And it's getting to that point where with Nolan, it's like that every time, where it's like, if there's a Nolan. And so you can expect when 2029, 2030 was around, when he's got his next one, he's already hinted that he wants to try a horror film if the story's right. We're going to see this again. We could see $1 billion horror film from Christopher Nolan.
Has there ever been
That's
a
a great
billion-dollar
question.
horror?
I can do
I
that
have no
research right
idea.
now.
Moana coming in second, 17.9 domestic, 178.5 million global thus far in its second week. It dropped 56% in ticket sales, lost a good amount of cash for the House of Mouse. It is not doing well in terms of what they projected it to do. And I've been seeing a lot of hate for like just live action in general. Just seeing a lot of people just like bring back animation, bring back like hand drawn, and bring back like the life that like the original Snow White had, or even like people are just saying it's lifeless and colorless, and that How to Train Your Dragon can bring you to tears, and then the live action comes out and it's just like great.
Well,
Which not to say Burke wasn't, but
it feels cheap is because like we've already seen these stories. Like it doesn't feel like a genuine, like I will say Chris Dubloa coming back for the live action How to Train Your Dragon did help that. And I felt like with that, if they would have had that one scene that we've constantly talked about, like if you add the scene that explains how they know how to destroy the big dragon at the end, then it's a perfect recreation, right? But they don't. And so it's not a perfect recreation. And it's the dumbest thing they like to get rid of. And now look at how much it cheapened the product. That's all people talk about when they think about that movie.
Not to mention, like Lilo and Stitch also put an awful taste in people's mouths. Like I just think they've got to be listening. I mean, you got to hear some, whether or not they are comprehending and acting on the feedback. I'm not sure, but I think people are over the live action.
People don't want the stories that they grew up with, or the stories that they love, or the characters that they love to be cheapened to such an extent. I mean, that's the end of it.
So, Toy Story 5 coming at 3 in its fifth week, 13.7 million domestic, 960 million global, coming up on that billion mark. It's right there. It maybe by week 10, you know,
Yeah.
like and then it's down 22% in ticket sales. So it's kind of holding. It's got that 20%. They'll get another 10 next week, probably. And they'll just inch their way closer through the rest of their weeks. Minions and Monster at 4 in its third week, 13.6 million domestic, 323 global, and it's down in 30%, which is why it inches. It's only $100,000 between these two. And kind of sucks for Minions and Monsters being in its third week. Like that sucks. That's rough. Which is like the fifth installment of the Despicable Me.
Well, can you
I didn't
imagine,
expect it.
Can you imagine being a film that is in its third week? You've earned almost 14 million. And by the way, I do want our fans to know I did go through and update these right after Jake complained at me. So the numbers you've read beyond the Odyssey are all correct. But can you imagine being in your third week? You've earned 323 million globally. I would love to go back and see what they've earned. Actually, I can do that very quickly. Their budget was 85 million. They've earned 323 million globally. They've got to be close to earning back their money. They only dropped 30% for the second to third week, which is usually a great mark, and they're still fourth because a similar story from a bigger franchise knocked them down by $100,000. Can you imagine? Oh, I'd be livid. I mean, like, you're still swimming, but if I'm Illumination, if I'm Universal, I'm like, because you're so close. You're so close.
And I'm then Universal.
yeah, right, exactly.
Yeah. Was that loud?
It's kind of, but that's okay.
I feel like that was like the only one that's like super loud. Rightfully so, because they got dunked on. And coming in at fifth, just kind of the tail end of the pack here, Evil Dead Burn in its second week. Nobody's really contesting this fifth spot. It's got 4.7 million domestic, 51.5 million global total. Despite suffering from the classic second week horror film drop, the latest from Evil Dead has already just about doubled its production costs. So Warner isn't sweating over this one, even though the critiques that we read off, I think last week, they were like, people were not like big fans of this one comparatively to prior.
Evil Dead is in such an interesting. Well, yeah, they're in such an interesting position because all they have to do is kind of return to form. Like if the next one, what I think that'll be the 7th or 8th in the franchise. Like it's been going on for a long time. If they just return to form with more campiness, a little bit more silliness on top of the horror, and stop taking themselves so seriously, which was the biggest critique from last week for this one for Burn, that audience, they're already there. We talked about how they had horrible marketing for this one. No one like I didn't even see the marketing for this very much, and it's still almost doubled its production cost in 2 weeks. So it's like it will be fine. Like Evil Dead is one of the few legacy horror brands that's fine. They'll be okay.
And so coming in through 6 through 10 here is The Invite, which is A24. They're slow rolling that thing. I mean, it gained theaters again this week. It gained, it actually lost 30%, I think, off the top of my head. But it gained theaters and still came in 6th. It doesn't seem to be going away. They just keep like kind of slowly giving it more theaters. That came in 6th. Young Washington fell to 7th. Obsession, Supergirl, and Disclosure Day rounding out the top 10. Supergirl, did they make their money back? I've since deleted all of the tabs I had.
Supergirl, it's earned 69.9 total gross. Let me make sure that's worldwide. No, worldwide it's earned almost double that at 120.8. I don't think it's made back a profit. I can very quickly do the research.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's sitting at 9 and its 4th week.
So it costs between, according just a quick Google, between 170 and 186 to produce million. That is, and it's barely earned 120, almost 121, I should say, million.
They put marketing on that because I saw it everywhere.
Yeah, so you're talking about closer to 350 million, 450 or 400 million. And it's not even earned 121 yet in however many weeks it's been in theaters, and it's down to 9. So the first big loss and the first big kind of dud for James Gunn. But again,
Gunn jam. Let us know.
It did. I'm just gonna keep harping on this point every time we bring back up Supergirl. It's not the character. It's not that the story is not as good as Superman from last year. But the biggest problem is that, again, this is so early in this story and you're introducing a side character and as a lead. And that's not fair to Cora, the character. That's not fair to the people who worked on it. But you got to think about common audience. They're not thinking of Supergirl as a main character. And I'm sorry, but that's what it is. That's just kind of the nature of the business. So unfortunate for them.
I saw like a piece of social media that it was a spoof. It was making fun of Supergirl, and one of the things was it's like, I'm Lobo and I'm in this movie, and then he leaves. Like that. Yeah. That was a running joke throughout the whole video. Is Lobo just shows up and I don't know, hits something and like furthers the plot and then leaves.
Yeah.
And that's all. That's what he would say. That was the only thing he said. I'm Lobo.
What's the joke is like a dude busts through the door and they're like, not now. And he's like, I'm contractually obligated to be in this episode for 30 seconds. And then he like leaves. That's exactly what it feels like for Lobo.
A wife, not married.
Yeah.
So, I guess we can move into our next week's predictions. What do you think?
Yes. Do you want me to go ahead and go first? You want to, because usually I abuse you with it. I make you go after I do all the reading. I'm like, all right, Jake, just do it.
I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm gonna keep going first because I think somebody is a little out there on their prediction here. It's not me. All right, the Odyssey. I've got the Odyssey at 1. Crazy, right? Even if it's gonna drop 70%. It's not. The Odyssey at 1. I've got Moana at 2. I think that it's going to slow. It's got a negative 58% loss over win here. I don't think it's going to be that high again. I think it's going to mellow out. A lot of it I think was the Odyssey. So I've got Moana still at 2. Toy Story 5 at 3. I think it's going to hold, and Minions is going to drop hard. And so I've got Minions next, because like there's really nothing contesting. Nobody wanted to put anything out for this second week of the Odyssey. Odyssey 1, Moana 2, Toy Story 5 at 3, Minions and Monsters at 4, and then I've got The Invite. I'm putting money on A24, holding out and beating Evil Dead Burn, sitting at 4.7 this week. Obviously going to drop because it took 65%. I mean, it's probably going to be high 50s again, if not 60. But the invite, I think, can hold out. I don't think it's going to lose that much. It'll be close. It'll be close for 5th, but I've got the invite at 5 for that reason.
I think that's very sound. But I wanted to take a few shots because we've been very close, so close the last few weeks. In fact, I think the last 4 weeks, we've had the same exact 5 twice. And in the one time that we did have difference, or the one we both got the same amount correct. It's like we've had because it's that time in the summer box office where the biggest fish are in the pond, and there's not a lot releasing around them because you don't want to lose money. It's just good business. So, but now we're at a point where some of the stragglers are starting to fall off, and there's some interesting in between big films. So this week I think it's a lot harder than last week. Obviously, we all got 5 out of 5 this past week, so it's easy to say that. But I digress. This week's going to be a lot harder just because there's so many variables, so many moving pieces. So with that out of the way, the Odyssey at 1, shocking, I know, but it's going to continue to reign supreme. It might drop a little bit just because we're in that weird week between the Odyssey and Spider-Man. However, because it's that weird week, the Odyssey will not lose those premium screens that people weren't able to go look at or go view this first week. So the Odyssey might lose very little just because of the premium formatting and people are curious. So if it does lose, I don't think it'll lose as much as people want to say because they're haters. But actually, second, I'm hinging upon a key factor from this past week. I actually have Toy Story 5. Not because I think Toy Story 5 is going to gross increase, I should say. It's not going to increase in gross from this past week. However, I think Moana, I think that's very troubling that a family-friendly live-action Disney film fell as hard as it did after it popped off at 1, right? It's very rare that this genre of film does so bad. So I actually think Moana is going to tank again just because people are done with it. They don't want to see it. We're in the middle of these weird releases, so people aren't even going to the movies anyway, right? So those who are going to the movies aren't watching Moana. So I think that Toy Story, just by default, because of what it is and because of its success, will continue to reign. And you'll just see Moana drop a ton. It's 17 to 13 right now in terms of million. The difference is 4. Yeah, the difference is a little over 4 million. I think we could see something to where Toy Story only dropping 22% in ticket sales from this past week to this week. I think it'll be a similar mark. And I think Moana could drop hard again, another 60% or more, which will put it in that range. It'll be very tight. And I think we'll see another tight race between Toy Story 5 and something else. And then I agree with you on Minions and Monsters. I have it at 4. It's just going to naturally drop down because it can't compete at this point. It's going to drop harder than 30%. And it's just going to flail a little bit between the 3 in front of it, I should say. And then in my last spot, so the thing about the invite that's so interesting is that despite going up 500 theaters, it still dropped 30%. So I feel like the fad's starting to die a little bit. And it's a safe bet because of the lack of competition. But there's one film, and the only reason that I have it here is just a shot in the dark because I think there's enough interest in it to gross more than 3.5 million. Because right now, that's where the invite is. The invite at 6 is 3.9, having dropped 30% after 500 net positive theaters. So I think that we will see the invite continue to fall, maybe below that 3.5 mark. If Pinocchio Unstrung, the next in the weird universe and series of movies in the free use Disney characters that are horror movies, right? That's what this is. This is the next install. Remember Pooh, Blood and Honey, and yada yada. This is another one of those. I think there's enough intrigue in this that people might go see it just because. And we might see it earn more than 3.5. It is getting a wide release of this upcoming week. It's the only one that seems to be very interesting. I know that's a very personal take, but the only one that I've seen people kind of talk about from the upcoming week's wide release in between these two whales of films, that is the Odyssey and Spider-Man. So I have, as a shot in the dark, Pinocchio Unstrung. I have a vastly different top 5 than Jake this week.
And what's going to happen is he's going to get one of those crazy ones right,
and I told you
the other one wrong, and then I'm going to get the other one right, and it's going to be even. Again, it's going to be the same score. Moving on, we have an AI. We've got to make it somewhat interesting and kind of I guess put ourselves up against something that has the World Wide Web at its fingertips. And so we use Claude, particularly Sonnet 5 now. and I run it on high. I let it have its deal. I don't do an opus just because I think opus would probably muddy it a little bit, and we want just kind of like a general middle of the road. So we usually call him TJ, Timmy Jimmy, and we ask him the top 5. So it is a little odd. It believes that it will be the same as last week. The Odyssey at 1, Moana at 2, Toy Story 5 at 3, Minions and Monsters at 4, and Evil Dead Burn at 5. It straight copy and paste. It doesn't care about the invite. It doesn't care about Evil Dead Burn just coming at 5, but it doesn't care about Pinocchio. And to be fair, I mean, it's got a chance.
Here's the thing. That's not a bad 5.
No.
That might be the most common sense of us all, to be honest with you. That's not
very
a bad 5.
well within its right.
Right.
It could happen. It could be that Pinocchio and the invites just straight flop, and Moana could take Toy Story 5 and some freak thing. I don't think Ryan's unfounded to say that Toy Story 5 at negative 27% will beat a Moana at negative 58%. It's $4 million. Like, that jump between their win and loss, that's enough to put Toy Story over Moana, even in its 5th week or coming up on 6th week. So it's anybody's game. It's a matter of, we won't tie, but these guys will get very close to me if I get both of my predictions wrong.
Yeah.
So, because I'll be down 2, which leads. TJ's two behind. So
that's the thing.
Ties.
Even if you're only up by 3 on me. Even if 2 of 5 and you got 4 of 5, like, you're only going up by a full 5. Like, I'm still well within range to make a move. That's how close we are right now. Is like even wins and losses.
Could even it. Next week could give TJ even. If I miss both of mine, both of these guys could even it out. Ryan would be 1 behind, but TJ would even it out. So it's really very close, very close.
It's been a great competition thus far.
That, I guess, rounds out the first segment of our box office hits and predictions. Coming up after the break, we've got Alvin and the Chipmunks reboot and a little bit of God of War mishap. Coming up after the break. Howdy doody, thank you for sticking around. We great box office there. Ryan has written a lovely script for me to read about Alvin and the Chipmunks. And I'm going to try my best to read it in Ryan's cadence. Obviously, I have a different cadence than he does, but bear with me. I'll try to pronounce all the commas and the periods.
Just in case you thought I was going to get the week off with writing just because I'm not hosting. No, believe it or not, the decision for me not to be the main host this week came about 5 seconds before we hit record.
As soon as he went, you're like, okay, wrap it up.
Yeah, we're gonna have to. We gotta make one of those. Like, let's pivot hard.
Ryan, you ever heard of Starlink? Come on, man. I'm kidding.
just hanging out the window of my hotel room.
Yeah. Hey, it works, man.
Oh, I'm sure it does.
We got traveling road techs, and Starlinks in the middle of a pit mine they work because all they need is a satellite. And that's all they really need to, like, send an email or get diagnostic information. So it's like it's nothing. It's like down, I think, or like maybe it's 100 down, which is not bad for internet nowadays. Like 100 down's what a lot of people pay for,
especially if you can put it wherever. Just
they put it in the dash of the truck. They just sit it on the dash and it goes to the windshield.
Yeah.
So anyway, moving on. You guys came here. Wait, did you come here for Alvin and the Chipmunks? Anyway, after acquiring a 25% ownership stake in the IP, Brian Robbins, who is the former Paramount co-CEO, and his production banner Big Shot Pictures, think they're big shots. It will work with franchise owner Bagdasarian Productions on a fresh, modern take on the furry musical trio. After the deal became official, franchise heads Ross Bagdasarian Jr. and Janice Carmen, who has led the franchise since the 70s, released this statement. We have guarded nearly 7 decades of chipmunk content, waiting for the right opportunity. Working with Brian and the incredible team he has assembled made this the perfect collaboration. That's coming from the Hollywood Reporter. I find that funny. I don't know. It's easy to kick Alvin and the Chipmunks, but by no means are they down. We're not kicking them while they're down. It's just easy to make fun. Right?
You're going to talk about how much money they've made, but it does seem silly because they're like, we've guarded this franchise for 70 years. Yeah, we've been waiting for the right collaborator. You really would think they're talking about like Van Gogh or like The Godfather or just something like just the utmost quality content, and it's literally Alvin.
Yeah,
3 singing chipmunk.
And I'm thinking back to the days of like the animated Alvin and the Chipmunks, and like even then it was just kind of like I don't know. It stands out. It has its own. It holds its own. It's just It's just so funny that it is a number one talking chipmunks, 2 high pitched talking chipmunks
who sing in our pop stars while being kids.
Yeah.
Let's also put this out. Like, I want to put this out there before we continue because we do want to get into like the rest of what's going on with this deal.
Yes.
Every adaptation of Alvin and the Chipmunks, they've not been chipmunks. They've been kid-sized, like they're just children with tails and fur.
Huge rodents.
Yes.
Mind you.
Until 2007, which we'll talk more about that. But it is like, it's an excuse for kids to get into mishaps and tell a funny story. That's it. Like that's what Alvin is. And it's made a lot of money. We'll continue.
I was always a Simon fan. Ryan. Yeah. You a big Simon guy?
Yes. Yeah. You're talking about a guy who, again, I loved Alvin and the Chipmunks growing up. I watched all the movies when they came out up until I was a teenager. I like had on the dual disc DVD set of the old cartoon. It was like Alvin and the Wolfman and the Frankenstein or whatever, like those two. Like I genuinely had those watches all the time. You're talking to a guy who had 2 other brothers who also loved Alvin and the Chipmunks, and we had like our roles, like what we would be.
Oh yeah, I'm like this guy, and you're
like yes, like and I was always considered Simon with me and my siblings. Like they always pointed to me as Simon. So yeah, big Simon guy. Like that, like this hits home for me a lot, this story. Strangely enough, but it does.
Well, getting back into it, while a distributor hasn't been named, a fresh new look for Alvin has been it's not leaked, but shared from Big Shot's Instagram with the caption, "The Chipmunks are back." And we'll show you a picture of it coming up. The goal of this new take is to share short form content, not to mention new music opportunities to bring hype for a theatrical release as the young chipmunks navigate modern technology. We're going to see like reels and like content creator style chipmunk videos coming out. And it's going to be odd because I can see it now. They're all just going to be ads and people are going to swipe or something. Or it's going to be I don't see it being tastefully done. I have low expectations. I don't have high hopes for that marketing campaign because I don't think that Hollywood is doing it very well so far.
I need to trademark this. So everything I say at the end of whatever monologue I'm about to give, add TM. I just want it there because I'm telling you, this is how you do it right. Because we're in a perfect age for this, as like the technology has grown for storytellers and for content creators, especially. Can you imagine the Alvin and the Chipmunks account goes live and you're like, why is there a live stream on TikTok? You go to it, you can totally get like one of those like 3D avatars. Like if you can have the money to make it look what it needs to be and render what it needs to be, you don't have to show a lot of Alvin. But if you could just for 30 minutes have Alvin live stream talking, answering real questions for fans and kids who are on TikTok.
Yeah.
That would be successful. If you can make it look like if it can look the way it needs to and it doesn't look like a VTuber, yes, it can. Yeah. It just depends on what render farms they have and like I don't know how much money Big Shot Pictures has. I know Sony's an investor in them, But it's like, what resources do they have beyond, maybe just your average everyday independent distributor? Who knows? But I'm telling you, that would be a fun way to try to connect and do that accomplishment of like, oh, here's the reels, here's the music of like if these kids or these chipmunks were in our modern age, but also here's a live with like an actor behind the scenes with a VTuber, like whatever you call it, like just it's a skin essentially. But yeah, that would be TM.
Mind you, this is Ryan's idea. You have to pay him if you take it.
Yeah, big shot.
This will be the first film since the 2015 Alvin the Chipmunks: The Road Trip, which is the fourth installment in a film franchise from 20th Century Fox dating back to 2007. Chef's Kiss, 2007, Alvin and Chipmunks. Awesome. Ian is still one of the highest regarded villains out there. The franchise, according to THR, has earned 6 Grammy nominations, many a TV series, and over 1.5 billion in box office revenue. By no means a chipmunk in the game. This is a giant. In a statement of his own, Brian Robbins explained, Ross and Janice have built one of the most enduring brands in family entertainment history. We are thrilled to be partnering with the Bagdasarians to bring Alvin and the crew into the 21st century with the scale, creativity, and energy they deserve, according to The Hollywood Reporter. So the film's slated to release in 2028. It also coincides with the franchise's 70th anniversary. So old franchise. But
when I first read that, I had to reread it. I was like, there's no way that's true. Like I even went to like another source to like verify 70 years of Alvin. I didn't realize it was that old.
Is that 58?
Yes.
Yeah.
I did like I had no idea we were hearing high-pitched actors sing, name a chipmunk song. Crazy.
I'll get y'all an undoctored image here, and I'll upload it for everybody at home. Ryan,
yes.
You've got a pre question in here for me.
Yes. Sorry for the dead air.
What do we think?
We're uploading.
What do we think? Look at what they've done.
Look what they've done to our boy. That's all I feel like. I mean, they somehow made him into like there's a term I want to use. He's one with the ladies, is what he looks like. He doesn't like Alvin's always
was. I guess,
yes,
right?
he's always supposed to have been cool, but this like makes him seem like I don't know, like
this
just it
looks
just
a whole lot better.
That one does look a whole lot better. Like for me, it feels like he's trying too much to be an F boy, if you will. Like I feel like that's like that is what they went with. Like they went with somebody who's like kind of a player, but like Alvin was always meant to be smooth. I don't know. I just
Which this pertains nothing to the movie or even Alvin himself, but I hate those hoodies, man. Those hoodies, like the Sherpa, that's what I call it, is the Sherpa look. And I've got a comparison I'm pulling.
Yeah,
that's the Alvin I grew up with. That looks like, some people are saying AI.
Yeah, I feel like it's because it's too realistic is what it is. It's because it's like there's a point to where it goes beyond just believability with rendering, like with CG. I like the texture look of the hoodie in the right, but the one on the left feels more realistic because you got to remember Dave sewed those for them like from his own cloth that he just had. Like and that's what makes the one on the left feel more believable is because it's not perfect. It's like it looks like someone just sewed it together, where the one on the right, the new one, looks pristine. Like it looks really well done. Like again, the Sherpa, like the whole, like it's frayed almost. It looks like a shag carpet. Like it looks very well made, very comfy, and it's just like I don't know. I'm just
the Sherpa, like I mean that's modern. I mean they are keeping true to it, bringing them into the 21st century. Like that's not just a regular hoodie. People don't wear regular hoodies anymore. They're doing like this designer stuff.
Right.
And so that's what you're seeing hoodies made out of now. And after the first rain, it's ruined.
Right. My big thing, I can get over this. The reason that I have a big problem with it is because like it's new. Like I'm so for real. Like I grew up with this. Yeah. I grew up with this. Like this isn't what I'm used to. And it just like, it's weird, right? Like that's the whole
Old
thing.
man
Is that,
gum.
yes, like that. I want to be so for real with you. That's why like I make the joke like he looks like he looks because like it's just not what I'm accustomed to. I didn't grow up with that. So it's like I want to be completely transparent. I'm hating just to hate, and there's really no reason because it looks good. Like it for a new generation, like it looks it's very well done. If it is true, it looks fine. My thing is the biggest thing that I want to see. Please keep them chipmunks. Like, don't make them if they're kid size. If when we see them in this live action, if they're like big, like mutant chipmunks, I'm gonna freak out. Like, I will. Like, I don't even know if I'll be in the theaters for this one. But can you imagine? Because like all the shows do that. Like, if you go watch all the cartoons, like they're like in the original. I shouldn't say the original. In like the 90s, 80s or 90s show, they're smaller than the normal kid, but they're not chipmunk size. They're big, and it's like. Even that, like while that one was goated, that show was goated, especially for a young kid. It's like, nah, it's cooler when they're chipmunks. Like that, like it, I don't know why, but it's just like with the realism added to it in 2007 in that franchise subsequently. So if the second that they're not that size in a live action show, you're going to see me storm out of a theater that I'm not even in. Like, I'm just not doing it.
Here's the thing. And if they do that, you get the cutouts in Kroger of like life-size, not life-size chipmunk because that'd be like, but like, the huge ones.
Yeah.
I want one. I want Simon.
Well, I'll tell you why they probably go with that the textured hoodie is because they probably want to sell them just like anything. Like back in the day, everyone remembers when there was like in the 80s and 90s, like you have those that run of cartoons that all looked very similar, but everyone was brightly colored and like from Transformers to Spider-Man and all these. Do you know why they look like that? Because they wanted to sell toys. That was why. Like they weren't that literally the whole point. They had a toy idea and they said, we need to make people excited. Let's make a show. That was the whole point. This I feel is very similar.
Transformer binders and notebooks. Like that's another thing. It's like those sell. So yeah, if you can get an Alvin hoodie.
Yeah.
But Alvin's the only one with a letter on it, right?
Yes. But think about the brilliance of that too. It's not just modern because that's what a modern kid would wear. It's modern because that's what modern audiences want to buy at the store. So it's like, throw the A on there. It's just a frayed red hoodie with an A on it. Throw the marketing behind it on the tag, and people will buy it for $60 a pop, $70 a pop.
Which is nuts. That's freaking nuts.
People will do that.
Hoodies have become, man. I don't buy a hoodie if it's over $40.
Right. Well, you shouldn't, but they will because it's got that branding on it, even though it's the same price to make that hoodie as just a regular hoodie.
Oh. They're all made in Vietnam or China.
Yeah. But that is exactly why he looks like that. It's to sell toys and it's to sell merchandise and sell whatever. And it fits with what modern audiences want to buy as a consumer, not as like an audience, right? Again, modern audiences will connect with it as an older kid. So I don't jive with it.
It is a reboot. Arguably, will it do numbers like its predecessors? Do we think it has, I guess, a place with this next wave of chipmunk artists? And side question, are we going to get the girls in this one?
The Chipettes? I don't think in the first one. In fact, I doubt it because that's usually like, even in the cartoons, it was like a step in the sequel direction. It was always like, oh, here are these three. All of a sudden, oh my gosh, here's these other three that are they a love interest or are they their sisters? You don't know. It's like they play that card of like in one show they're like also adopted by Dave, and in another they're like, and then in the movies like Alvin's falling in love. And so it's weird what they want to do with those depending on the adaptation. However, I don't know. That's the kind of the thing is that it's been so long since this show since any Alvin stuff has had clout, right? Like even the most recent show ended in like 2019, 2020, something like that. The last movie was a decade ago, and that movie was not received very well, did not do so the audience you're trying to pull from, we've talked about this with other franchises. The audience you're trying to pull from, they don't know. So like we go back, it hinges upon their marketing. Like if they can do cool stuff, if they can bring their parents to say, oh, this is cool, I like this, or like nostalgia, this is what I lived with when I was a kid, this feels cool, you would like this. I feel like there's an opportunity for it, just like anything. But with Alvin especially, there's more because they've had the opportunity and they have successfully traversed under this leadership, right? They have traversed the growing generations as they've come since 1958. So if there's any, it's ironic we talked about the same conversation about Star Wars and Disney can't figure it out with the entirety of the Star Wars universe, but the Bagdasarians have done it with the Chipmunks since the 70s. So I mean, again, with their track record, I trust them. They've earned over $1.5 billion in box office revenue on top of everything else they've earned. They know what they're doing, and they say they choose this guy.
After we bashed live action movies in the first segment, now we're like, hey, these live action movies, maybe the first and second one, and maybe the third, actually pretty good. But nobody's begging for animated chipmunks.
Yeah, well, it's a little different when it's like you have the animated
like
movies. Yeah. Like it's not like they're trying to copy a story that was told in animation so perfectly 10 years prior. Like this is like each new version of the Chipmunks is something new. Like it really is a reimagining or a rebirth of that franchise every time, which makes it fresh. And that's why they survived, is because they're not like they're hinging upon a trio of chipmunks who can sing, who get adopted by a human who has a soft heart and then becomes their manager as well. He's also a little greedy and corporate heavy, but we'll get past that. We'll fly by that in the ethics behind what that would look like.
Who wouldn't be?
Both as a father and as a would you count? He's not a pet owner in that sense, but like anyway, we're not going to get too far. We're not going to try and think too hard about that.
Right.
But anyway,
my final question, I think, on the Chipmunks. Do you think with the popularity that this character has, will Ian turn?
So,
or who's his actor?
David Cross.
David Cross, yeah. Will David Cross make an appearance?
The character maybe, but without David Cross, I don't think it's doable because audiences will revolt. And secondarily, David Cross himself had said that his last Chipmunks movie he was treated so poorly by 20th Century and by those people because he had the story goes, and he was in an interview. I saw this on a reel and I went and watched the whole
seagull
thing. Yeah. So yes. So he was on another set and he was doing something for a show, like a project he really wanted to do. And I just recommend, I'll have to find it and try to put it in the show notes. But from what I remember, how he had described it, he had another project that he was lined up to do, or it was something personal he had to do, and he really wanted to do it. And essentially 20th Century was like, hey, if you don't do this right now, like you're not getting the role. Like you're not like the new one of the later ones, not the first one. They were like, you're not getting the role, and you need, like, if you want to make this money, because the Chipmunks paid a lot. Like that franchise at the time, I mean, they earned $1.5 billion doing those 4 movies, right? So they make a lot of money. So it's like this is the biggest paycheck you'll have all year, and if you don't show up now, you're not going to show up at all. They gave him, like, a guy that had been around for a long time and is a big reason why that franchise is what it is, or what it became. They gave him kind of a crappy ultimatum, and he lost out on a really nice role that he really wanted to do. And he was asked if he'd ever do another one. And he said no. Like he straight up was like, I've never been treated worse. So again, take that with you, Will, if you haven't seen it. But yeah, I doubt, like with that in mind, Ian might return, but if Ian returns and it's not David Cross, B, it's not even worth doing. Like, it's not. Like, I could see the Bagdasarians and now Big Shot trying to be like, look, you're a legend. We'll pay you a lot of money. Whatever you want to do, we just want you in the franchise. And maybe because it's not Fox and it's not the same producers, maybe it'll ease over some tensions. I don't know how much the Bagdasarians had involvement in that, but I would say no.
I wonder if it being a reboot, we're just going to get our same retelling, perhaps. Not sure.
Maybe, but again, talk about the rebirth. That's why this is so perfect, is because it's like with the modern technology, it doesn't matter. Like it's going to be so different with the way that kids are raised today. Like back in 2007, you were catering to early 2000s, even 90s children. Now you're catering to kids born in the 2010s, which is, or even until 2028, you're kids born almost in 2020, which is ridiculous. But you get the point. Is like you're catering to Gen A or Gen Alpha and very, very young Gen Zs, as older. I guess they'd be older kids at that point, but you get the point.
So we can move on maybe to something more cool and manly, maybe. Alvin, pretty manly. But God of War faces its first major battle after a production mishap. After suffering a torn bicep while filming a stunt, Ryan Hearst is out as Kratos in Amazon's live action God of War remake. So there was kind of like it was 50-50. People were like, Ryan Hearst doesn't look the part with that leaked photo. I don't know if it was leaked, maybe it was just posted. Some were like, give it a chance, it'll be fine. Not necessarily saying that it didn't look bad, just kind of like dismissing it and saying, well, Ryan's out, and I would assume that role is open. Despite having finished 4 episodes, the production houses involved, including the aforementioned Amazon, MGM, Sony, and more, they've decided to move on with a different Kratos rather than wait for Hearst to heal to resume filming, which look to push filming into next year. Devastating development for Ryan Hearst, who was also in Sons of Anarchy and The Walking Dead. He put on 40 pounds of muscle in preparation for that role. So for them not to wait, and then also having finished 4 films or 4 episodes, it's like, wait a minute. Like, what are we going to do with those 4? Are we going to reshoot the entirety of the 4? We would rather reshoot 4 episodes than let bro heal. Bonkers to me. I think that's a level of production hell that not only does him dirty, but probably ruins. If they go forward with the 4 episodes and then they change the Kratos, that's going to be awful.
They read down a little farther. I've got a
We're
little bit
getting
more
there,
information.
folks.
Yes.
Commentary. This decision was not one made easily, as regardless of choice, it's a pricey one. You can either wait 4 to 6 months for your current lead to heal or recast and reshoot from the beginning. Not to mention Callum Vinson, who plays Atreus, is a child actor who is aging very quickly. His voice is going to change, chat. He's going to turn into the kid in the second game. The media was quick to create a short list of potential leads to fill the role, with Yahoo labeling Travis Fimmel of hit series Vikings fame, which I believe I know his face. Maybe Ryan can get you his face. We can get a list of these guys. No? All right.
Maybe not with my current setup, unfortunately.
All right. I'm going to try and do it. All right. Pablo Schreiber, known for playing Master Chief in Paramount's Halo, and Ray Merriman in Den of Thieves. So, and then, I've missed one. Rory McCann. He did the Hound in Game of Thrones, which I have seen the Hound. The Hound's freaking scary. So I think he could do it 100%. One notable commonality between the 3 is their ability to bulk and get into Kratos level shape, and their hulking size fit for a god. I would actually throw in the voice actor of Kratos.
Yeah.
That's another one that could 100% play that character and already does bodybuilding and looks the part anyway.
The only issue with what is his name?
I'm not sure. He's up there in age though.
Yes, that's what it was. Christopher Judge. Christopher Judge he is already in his 60s. He looks giant, and honestly, like if you throw the makeup on him, he would look like Kratos. Like he does, like just his physique. The problem is he is 61, and with the demanding nature. I mean, someone 20 years his senior, who's 40 years old, couldn't handle it. Like, and it's not Ryan Hearst's fault. He tore his bicep. It's a freak accident. But like, that's how demanding it is that, someone younger than him, it affects you. So it's just, I would love to see Christopher Judge do it, but this was something that should have been done like 15 years ago, unfortunately for him.
I am getting some photos for you guys. I've got the Hound in there right now. We're getting to Mel here.
So I apologize for not having this. My setup is very limited with our situation, which we described at the beginning. For those who might have come in and skipped a little bit, I am out of town, and I'm on my very limited. I'm on my laptop, and I packed my stuff. So I apologize for us having to kind of pivot here very quickly to get this imagery. However, the 3 that we talked about before, Travis Fimmel, who is this bad boy Rahe, played in Vikings. A lot of people really like him. He's as tall as the other 2, but he is huge in terms of his muscular stature. He's a big guy, And a lot of people feel like him already playing a Viking, it would fit very, very well. Secondly, is Pablo, who again, he's Master Chief. He played as well as Ray Merriman in Den of Thieves, as we described earlier. He is also like 6'5", big guy who also has the physique to pull it off. A lot of people really do like him as someone to fill the role. And lastly, here is Rory McCann, who, if you've not seen Game of Thrones, you won't recognize his face. It should be popping up here. Second, there it goes. I feel like he looks the most physically in terms of how tall he is, because he literally played the Hound, who's a hulking figure, and his face is very narrow, like Kratos. You know what I mean? Like the narrow nose. Like he's not got a small face, but like his facial features remind me of Kratos the most out of all of these. And then here it looks to be Christopher Judge and our boy Kratos.
I am. But anyway, that was just to get his face in there.
Yeah, of course. But he does. He would definitely fit if he was.
Well, they did mocap on him. He has to kind of look like him.
Of course. But you know what I'm saying is like
he's old.
Yeah.
Honestly, Rory might be best option here.
He would be.
I doubt
they'll
do any of them.
No, they'll go with someone who's a little bit like, I mean, the thing is they've also got their short list down. Like they already know Rory McCann he's 57, so he's not that much younger.
Of course, if you have this kind of list, Reddit's gonna have a discussion on it. Henry Cavill's gonna have his name thrown out there. There's another name floating around Reddit, is David Arbor coming in and taking it. And although he's a dad, although he can play the dad, I don't think he's got Kratos, unfortunately. Even he's blanking now, but he is the Captain America of Russia.
Yeah.
What is it? The red star or red?
Yeah, he's hold on. Now, I'm sorry, I was looking up another list as well, because there is another actor that I do want to add to this list. But as you asked, the Red Guardian, I think is his name.
The Red Guardian. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So the series is set to restart production in October with a new lead, and it has a 2-season production order. So they need to be filmed back to back. So not only are they going to have to decide to start over, recast somebody, they've still got 2 seasons ahead of them that they need to fill, and pray and hope that Atreus doesn't get old that quick.
Exactly. And that's, from what I understand, it's Atreus, it's Callum Vinson. That's the big reason why, from what I read into, is that he's a kid, and children change looks very quickly and very rapidly, so they're deciding to just restart, right? Because I feel like a part of them has decided that they might have to restart anyway after 6 months of waiting or longer, because again, the kid will look so different in episode 5 to episode 1 because of the gap, right? However,
to be fair, in the games, I thought he was a little young from the photo that I saw for this show.
Well, not just
I thought he looked a tad young.
Is he not going to age anyway? Like, is he not, like, regardless of if you had yes, that 6-month gap is huge, but if it takes you 6 months to film episode 1, episode 5, he's gonna change a little regardless. So I'm not one, like, I know that online there's been discourse, like, just like when Ryan Hearst was initially cast, there's a discourse about whether or not he should be replaced. I'm of the side that this dude gave you everything and you can't wait 4 months. Like, you can't wait 6 months. Like, I understand that pushes you back a lot, and there's a lot more money than I could even fathom on this, and that's why. However, it's the level of loyalty or disloyalty that you want to see happen in this type of thing, where a guy's giving you everything, 40 pounds a month, tore his bicep doing a stunt for your show after 4 episodes were done, and you just cut him loose the day after without a second. Like, I know I can't say without a second thought, because there's probably a lot of thoughts going into that. But if you do have, go ahead.
This is what the boy looks like
now. Yeah.
Right. Well, when that photo was taken with Kratos and Atreus, like
early
together.
This year. Yeah.
And here's a side by side. That's Atreus in the first game, and like maybe they're close, but I would argue this guy's too young. Give it 6 months. Let Hearst redo it. That would be my take. I think you got a child actor in there too young, expecting season 2 to play out, and he might age into it, and then we'll get a now. Look, stay true to the games. Let the kid age. Let Ryan recover. We're going.
I will say, Collider last year before Ryan was announced did put together a list, and you have your typical names like there's Jason Momoa's on this list, which they only point to his time on Game of Thrones, which like he does kind of look like it, I guess, when you put that makeup on him, but I just don't think he'd do the role justice. They've got I think they've got Liev Schreiber, who was X-Men Origins. He wouldn't be bad, but he's just kind of meh. They've got Chris Hemsworth on here. But there is one name that is very interesting. His name is Winston Duke. He's known for Black Panther.
Yep.
That man would fit that role so well. He has the menacing, like he's got that look about him that just crosses into. Duke looks like that. He is so scary. He's a hulking figure. He's got the huge physique. I feel like he could portray that. I feel like he would be a natural replacement for Ryan Hearst in that role. Just when I look at all of them, if not anyone else, I think it'd be Winston Duke. If you did ask me to give you a second, I'd probably say Schreiber, Pablo Schreiber. He's got a very similar intimidating look to it. Like his face is just very menacing when he wants to be. So I think if you're not going Hearst and you're not going Judge because of his age, I think you probably should go one of those two just because they're young enough to continue the series beyond two seasons. Whereas like a Rory McCann or Christopher Judge might get you through these two, but beyond that, they're going to be old. Like they're going to be beyond a point to where they're. Yeah, I'll pull this up really quick, Jake.
Yeah,
look at that.
Here's Duke.
Like I'm telling, like, dude, does that not look like Kratos? Like I'm telling you,
looks like Kratos.
That's what I'm saying. That is so scary, so intimidating, and like if you put him in a fight with Thor, I feel like you could convince me he'd win. Like I genuinely like right now. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of Winston Duke. If I were to fan cast,
I agree. I like
but if you're not going to go him, I think Pablo Schreiber is a great option. I think Rory McCann fits the role from a physical standpoint from his face, but again, he's 57. If you're not going Judge, you might as well not go McCann because of his age. It's one of those things where it's like there's so many semantics going into it as to why you should or shouldn't. Those are my 2 cents about it.
And we had questions, but we basically all answered them. This is a kind of a yes or no, Ryan, and we'll get moving. Do you have confidence in the series beyond what you've from what you've heard today? I'll say no, simply because they don't have anybody playing Kratos right now. Like it's just that's really, I mean, I know that sounds obvious, but it really is just kind of one of those things where it's like, as long as production is at a standstill, the more that I think there's a lot more than just Ryan Hearst's injury behind the scenes making it go slowly, which is like probably why there might've been some of that playing into why Hearst is getting replaced. But I'll tell you right now, if by October, or I mean in the next month or so, they announce one of the few that we kind of shortlisted ourselves here, specifically Winston Duke, if one of those people get that role, my excitement for the show will immediately be back. Because I didn't think Hearst was that bad. I felt like he fit the role from a physicality standpoint. He had the menacing look. I wanted to see it play out because that's who they chose. I would be very excited for a Winston Duke. I think that would, again, he already looks like Kratos. I've already said my piece about that. If they bring in someone like that I can get excited for playing the character, I can bypass all of the that they've had and I can get excited for the role again. But as of today, with them replacing their lead, they have no one. They're racing against time with the kid who's aging. They also have like Mandy Patinkin in there, who's an older man who, you can't have the Batman Part 2 level of delays because these characters or these actors who play these characters are on time-sensitive time frames. So right now, but that can change. Oh man, we got through that, chat. You were breaking up a whole lot through that, but I think you got your point across, and I agree. It might be too early to call like whether or not I'm like still super excited about this. Like there is a low confidence level here, and how crazy would it be if they just said wrap it up? Like, yeah, just we got 4 episodes in, and those just get very dusted.
Yeah,
go up on a shelf, and it's a write-off.
Like that was Batwoman, right?
Yeah.
Batgirl. Sorry, but yeah, exactly.
Right, yeah.
And apologies again if I was breaking up, because on my end I wasn't, and that's why we have Jake hosting today.
Right. Because I'm homebody.
He's a lot safer of an option. But anyway.
Right. So that concludes our main segment. Coming up after the break, we talk about what you should know before you go. Thank you for sticking with us. I've got a much shorter soapbox than Ryan does, but we do appreciate you guys if you do make it to this segment. It means a lot for us. It means a lot for the algorithm, and we would wish nothing more than to spread, I guess, our joy, our knowledge, our laughs with hundreds of people, and we've done that recently, which is awesome to believe that we hit triple digits on a episode 2 episodes ago, which, I mean, it ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's not easy every single Monday. Ryan's in a hotel room right now, so you guys watching it means the world to us, and we appreciate you guys being here. So I'm gonna get off it. I don't go as long as Ryan does. Let us know if you prefer me to do that. Mine was a little better.
But oh yeah,
I'm kidding.
I appreciate you guys. Very quick soapbox for me. Just as crazy as this week is, on top of everything that I explained at the beginning with what I'm going through in a hotel room away from my normal setup on a bad Wi-Fi, like, we're in a separate roles than what we normally are. So we're trying to feel our way through each other's responsibilities. On top of, we lost a member last week with Emily. If you didn't watch last week, she got an amazing opportunity in Colorado. So hyping her up for the things she's doing. But that means that we're picking up the slack in the wrong roles because of the situations we're in. So thank you so much for being here with my weird breakups, like in terms of the call, and with Jake. Jake's
like,
doing
it just happened right there.
Yeah,
that's the crazy part. You called it.
Yeah. Jake's doing a fantastic job in normal programming next week, I promise. But anyway, well, I'm get off it and we can move on.
And then we'll actually switch coming in a month or so. I don't even know if I'll be able to, because I might not have a separate room. That might be the crazy part. Because I got the in-laws. I don't think we're sharing rooms, thankfully. But anyway,
bro, live show for them. Live show for them.
Live show for the girlfriend family. Oh man, I don't even want to think about it. That makes me nervous because her dad's just like big Fisher guy. Like, he's exactly what a dad is, and he wouldn't be into it. So moving on. Yeah, pansy. You sit for an hour and a half and talk to a guy about frolicking pansies and
yes, and it's the highlight of my week.
Love every second of it. So moving into what you should know before you go, we've got several different lines in here that didn't make our main segment, mainly because there's just not enough information to comment on, but it is important to know. And there's some big ones in here, the ones that I feel very passionate about. Get into it. Paramount has entered the courtroom after 2 more lawsuits are filed against Paramount and the Ellison family. Following last week's 12-state lawsuit, the Writers Guild of America, or WGA, has followed in step and filed their own lawsuit aimed at blocking the massive merger of Paramount and Warner Brothers. The purpose of filing separately than the states is to target writer-specific harms the Guild argues this deal would cause: lower pay and fewer jobs in a less competitive market, says the dailies. Then Paramount's own shareholders filed a suit in Delaware against the Paramount-owning Ellison family, arguing the owners created a corrupt handshake agreement with Donald Trump to overhaul CNN News in exchange for political backing, an agreement never shared with investors. If things couldn't get worse, it was reported that FCC chairman Brendan Carr accepted tens of thousands of dollars worth of gifts from Paramount while his agency was reviewing the studio deals. That's actually nuts that it was only tens of thousands.
Yeah, it's just compiling at this point.
That's barely a car, dude.
Yeah, bro, I can't
If we're
even
gonna take
afford.
bribes, if we're
I can't
gonna
even
take
afford
bribes.
my third luxury house with that. Like my monthly mortgage.
That's what I'm
I
saying.
don't know. It just for me, it's just I just think it's funny that all of it's happening at once. Like you've got everybody, and this is purposeful. Like let's be real. We've summoned the Avengers to try to battle this as it were would be with the Writers Guild and with I mean the fact that their own shareholders, I just think is comedic at this point. Like, do we think this will actually happen at this point? Do we think that underneath all this we're unearthing, the more we get past the original deal with all this crap, do we think we'll actually see it?
What's crazy is it's like, is it worth the money and the suits? Like, you now have to deal with 12 state lawsuit, WGA lawsuit, and then another lawsuit for bribery of a government entity. Like, we're now in the hole more than hundreds of millions that it took to buy the dang thing.
Well, it billions. And the thing is, too, on top of all that, the lawsuits they have to pay for, they still have a ticking fee, which people forget. The longer it takes for Paramount to acquire Warner, the more Paramount has to pay Warner shareholders because they're not getting the job done fast enough. That was a part of the deal. That's why Paramount left Netflix for Warner. And I think that will be an interesting question is if this drags out for a long time, if justice moves as slowly as it likes to in this country, will it even be financially viable for Paramount? And they're still having to adopt, on top of all that, they're having to adopt like 78, 79 million or $1 billion worth of debt as well. So we'll see.
What does Oracle do again? How much money does Oracle have again?
A lot.
I mean, not to say they don't have it, but Paramount's and Oracle, they're pocketbook, man. And whoever had the grand idea of putting that ticking fee, kudos to that guy.
Yeah, right.
Or lady. And a lady. Anyway, this is what I want to get into. Batman Part 2. It's been delayed again. Oh no. The delay pushes the film back 4 months and 17 days, which pushes it into the next year, February 18th, 2028. This is now the fourth delay since its initial October 3rd, 2025 release date. It could have been out for almost a whole year. 4 delays. According to Gaming Czar on Instagram, the Batman Part 2 has now been pushed back more times than GTA 6. Is that accurate? Has GTA 6 been pushed 2 or 3?
Yes. So they were tied at 3, like 3 post the initial announcement, right? So they were both tied, and this, according to Gaming Czar, now makes the Batman Part 2 have been delayed more times than GTA 6, which if that is like a factual piece of information, that's nuts because you got to think about how long we waited for GTA and how like the jokes are X thing happened before GTA 6. When will that start rolling out for the Batman?
I think you have to have the amount of time maybe first, because you could push back something more times than GTA 6, but GTA 6 we've been waiting on, and people have been joking about GTA 6
for a decade.
I mean,
a decade,
like
yeah.
2012, it's coming up on 15, I thought, right?
It came out in 2013, so we are coming up on 13 years.
About 15 years. Whereas the Batman, we're only is it 5? Is it
No, it
4?
came out
4?
in I think it's close to 5 years. Hold on.
That's what I was thinking. I was like 4.
The Batman, the first film came out in 2022. So we are, it will be 5. It'll be 6 years. It'll be 6 years by the time it hits theaters.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Which is awful. And it breaks my heart because Pattinson's aging out and they can't get a third movie in there fast enough. We're going to get a huge time skip, and what a great universe to see wither away, because I love Pattinson as that bat-tective. So moving on down the line, Lionsgate is officially for sale. Great. Another one. Awesome. Great. After the recent success of Michael, the company behind John Wick, Twilight, The Hunger Games, and more has hired a bank to field incoming offers. Currently, abroad companies like, how do you say this, Ryan? Banijay, known for Big Brother and Survivor, and Media One, like Obi-Wan, but media. Owners, it's horrible. Owners of Brad Pitt's Plan B, which I didn't know Brad Pitt had a line of Plan B. Kidding. Are the only two. They're the only two companies that are currently weighing a bid for the $3.8 billion company. I assume that's an appraisal. Something interesting to note. This is from the dailies. Lionsgate could be suffering from success due to Michael's $1 billion theatrical run, pushing the company's stock to the stratosphere and out of reach for bidders. Yeah, Lionsgate's not got a lot under them recently besides that, right?
You don't really have to when you made $1 billion or more with one movie and you're an indie studio like that. And the thing is, too, you got to remember, not long ago, Netflix was weighing an option to buy them. They weren't like after Paramount. The report was they might get Lionsgate, and then that just stopped because Michael pushed their appraisal way out of reach.
But they have Greenland with Butler.
No way.
Yeah.
Nuh-uh.
Way. And Good Fortune with Keanu Reeves too.
Yeah, they have like, I mean, they've got a, they're fun, but like, again, like they're one of those where it's like, I want, Saw is a big one. I want them to remain indie. Like, just like, I mean, just, we're in an age where it is more profitable to just sell what you have instead of try to make it work and compete. And it's sad that we don't have the safeguards to protect against it.
Which, I mean, I know they have shareholders, and it is probably a decision. It's just rough. I've seen it. When you say it's an indie company, like that's even like there's just somebody at the top who's just like, we did it. Like we billion dollars on that one.
It's bad positive reinforcement, because this is exactly what Warner Brothers did last year. This exact same thing. Warner Brothers had Sinners. They had this huge level of success in the beginning of 2025. I mean, the whole year for them was great, but halfway through the year, after they'd had the best 6 months they'd had in a decade, they said, what are we worth? And then that's what got us here.
Whoa.
Yeah. No way.
One more time.
Yeah.
So, moving on down the list. Have you heard this, Ryan? He has. This past week, Reddit user Gnarly Net took to socials to report that A24 has been trying to copyright claim his fan-made Backrooms works, which I think was wallpaper, like actual wallpaper. Despite the works being made before A24 became involved with Kane Parsons, which is the director of the recent Backrooms movie, after Parsons himself reportedly took the issue to A24, the studio released this statement. A24 makes no claim of ownership over the yellow wallpaper. The original post referencing it or any of the community works that have since been built around it, we will continue to support the artist who, like Kane, were inspired by it, which I'm seeing several reports of copyright strikes across the board, not even just wallpaper, just anything and everything being taken down. And then if anybody says anything about it, their account's suspended.
Yeah.
And
talk about like how the mighty have fallen. In the span of like a month, A24 has just become the villain. Like they have just in their own story.
Immediately, like not even I say this to everybody who's freaking out about the AI deal and all that, but they've been a big corporation, or at least been ran by not great people for a while now. They've not been the indie studio that everybody believed them to be for a long time. And now I guess it's all kind of crumbling. I guess within the past month or two, it seems like they just keep making odd decisions that are just corporate greed at its finest. And I'm not sure if Backrooms put them under a microscope or not, but like I feel like this would have happened regardless. I mean, if they didn't have Backrooms, they wouldn't be doing a copyright on this, but the AI deal would have still happened, and there probably would be another film they would have copyright striked people against. So A24 mighty has fallen, but they were going down. It was a matter of time till I think the greed got to them.
And it could not come at a worse time because right as this is happening, their Google AI deal and this whole controversy with trying to copyright independent works that they don't own. Kane Parsons is also a free agent. I put that in air quotes in the market right now with, according to the dailies, Warner Brothers, NBC Universal, and Sony are all trying to pull him away from A24 with exclusive deals. Warner Brothers in particular apparently is very intriguing to Parsons, according to reports, because he's a big fan of HBO. And Parsons wants to delve into the TV realm, and A24 is offering like a $65 million 3-year exclusive first look deal.
Dude,
and they
Black
want
Mirror of Backrooms would be nuts.
But they want A24 wants that film side looped in with their exclusive first look, and Parsons wants to shop that around, and that's why Warner is so interesting, is because they have HBO. And so it's one of those
Paramount.
things. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, Paramount. It's one of those things where it's like, this could not all come at a worse time, because not only do you have this young star in the industry you're trying to court for millions of dollars, and literally it is like blood in the water. All these other companies are offering just as much as you can. But on top of it, Kane Parsons himself is like, I don't like AI. If I could get rid of it, I would. Like he's straight up very openly against AI. The company he's currently working with delves headfirst into it and makes it difficult on the community he is trying to represent with his own story, while he's also a free agent. So it just makes for a very intriguing storyline as the next couple months play out. From what I've read, it seems like Parsons is going to make a decision in the next couple of months, near to the end of the summer. Before the summer's over, I guess he'll have a decision made. And it's the percentage of, I should say it like this: the percentage of him leaving A24 is getting higher. If anything, if this speaks to anything.
Yeah, it's just, there's too much evidence, I guess, on these copyright claims, and then the statement, it just doesn't make sense. I mean, what do we think is actually happening, I guess, there? Because it happened. They claim they copyright struck it. Like, is this bots saying this is copyright material because there's a movie out and it wasn't actually? Like, I have a hard time believing that A24 didn't do that. They put a copyright in and something flagged this guy's wallpaper.
Yeah.
So this wasn't a fluke, because they've been up for years.
I think they tried to test the waters to see how much control they could have over the IP, and it backfired on them in the best possible way. That's what it feels. It feels like, even if it's a bot, even if they were like, oh, well, we didn't control the bot. Well, you programmed the bot. Like that's the problem, is that like it happened, and you can't deny the evidence of it. Like, you're making, I genuinely believe A24 tried to test the waters to see how much pushback they'd get if they tried to make the backroom singular to themselves.
Yep. That's just awful. Moving on down the line. Just as Sony couldn't get more heat from its own audience, then they slight their anime audience. As reported by Collider, fans of the genre will no longer have access to the Crunchyroll store if they aren't Mega or Ultimate Fan subscribers, as the store service will go behind a paywall, limiting access to memorabilia and physical copies of each series. What are we doing? Cash grab.
It's Sony. I mean, this comes on the back of Sony announcing no more physical discs for their PlayStation. You know, like they immediately after that, they're like, oh yeah, by the way, and it's harder for people on the lower tiers of Crunchyroll to get the manga or pay for memorabilia.
Nuts, man. I used to hold Sony in high regard, but their decision making here that's trying to, I guess, cater to the future. I don't know. Like, I understand the disc side business wise costs a lot of money to do it. We talked about that on a last episode, or the episode before. Why are we paywalling merch? Because like we're all led to believe in this day and age, and in the past 20 years, merch is where it's at. You've got a successful anime like I don't know off the top of my head which ones Sony's have, but like I'm saying, like Chainsaw Man sells merch. Chainsaw Man's freaking everywhere, dude. Like Chainsaw Man backpacks and just everywhere. And we're gonna paywall something like that. If you've got something good that can sell merch, sorry, you have to be a Mega or Ultimate fan when people are already hurting and don't want subscriptions and are more than willing to cancel subscriptions and either pirate or do without because they're already struggling and they would rather just put their head down and work and sleep.
They're banking on because it's so convenient to just be able to be in Crunchyroll. It's like, oh, I love Spy Family, so let me get this statue of Yor or whatever, right? Like, it's easy to have that. But the thing is, I think they're overestimating how much people like that convenience. Because if I have to go to a third-party store, like, I'll go to Spencer's to buy the third-party, like, if I want that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not good. Like, I don't care where it came from. And I think that Sony thinks,
to be so for real, I would go to Temu before I even went to.
Yeah, but
the convenience of Crunchyroll that I could do, and if it was a decent price and I didn't have to wait 3 weeks for a Temu statue, Crunchyroll would be it. Now,
it feels like Crunchyroll and Sony, I guess I should say, they're trying to drain Crunchyroll and just wring out that towel for as many drops as they can get because they want to compete with. Because if you think about it, Sony, that's their only streamer. Like that's it. Like that is the streamer for them. And so they look at the competition. Like Netflix is the place for anime. Like if you're not a Crunchyroll subscriber and you don't pirate, it's on Netflix more than likely. So they're trying to compete. They're trying to make money. And this is just the wrong way to do it. And on top of it too, it's like Netflix did the thing where they limited your household, right, to like what you can in like password sharing. And it worked for them. So I feel like this is another negative that they talk about, that positive reinforcement for a bad behavior. That's what this is that like they look at what Netflix has done with stuff like that, however many years ago now. And they're like, hey, we need to make money because our competitors are merging with each other. These bigger and bigger conglomerates are appearing out of nowhere in these markets that are already tough. Let's try to make more money so we can justify keeping it open. And it's so funny because like now I've not been into the genre as long as really I've not been in it long at all. However,
and I've probably been in it not as long as even my buddies.
Yeah,
I've been in it probably double as long as Ryan has.
Yeah,
and my buddies have been like double as long as I have. So like if I was 3-4 years, my buddy's got 8.
Oh, how
Crunchyroll
the mighty have fallen. Yeah.
Well, when Crunchyroll and Funimation merged, everybody was like, "Oh God," because they knew like Funimation. I used to watch on Funimation, so I was watching right up that practically that year that they ended up merging, as I was a big viewer on Funimation. I was watching. I don't remember. It was like a classroom and an alien or something like that. Anime, right? But when that happened, everybody was just like, "Oh, well, there goes free anime. There it goes.
Well,
poof."
So I'm not one to know all the details on this, and I'm not one because technically it is not legal, so I can't say. However, I say how the mighty have fallen because Crunchyroll used to be a piracy site before it was bought and bought again. And that's why I say that, because that's where you used to go back in the early 2000s, I should say, maybe early 2010s. I don't know exactly when it became a service. However, I'm not saying you should, but in theory, just for educational purposes, because it's factual and it's not something that I'm advocating for, but there are other ways to pirate these things. And it would, in theory, be a way to stick it to the man if you, in theory, were able to do that without telling anybody. However, again, I am not advocating for that on this channel.
Yeah, because those creators do get paid. And that's the unfortunate part is the IP, and they've got a lot of creators in those IPs, and it's hard to make their money when a distributor decides to screw the customer.
Exactly.
So not only is Crunchyroll suffering from crappy subtitles, poor management, poor decisions, and wringing it out for corporate greed's sake and no other reason, they will likely lose to Netflix, because if I can get everything on one, I'm going to do that. And I will not touch Crunchyroll.
Yeah.
So we've got one more topic here. And that was a sad note. Maybe this one will be better. Who knows? Ryan does. While at the Call of Duty in Culture panel at the Fanatic Fest in New York City, director and co-writer Peter Berg shared that his Call of Duty adaptation is set for release June 30th of 2028. And it will be set within the already established Modern Warfare universe. So we're getting a Modern Warfare universe-esque movie in 2028. Can't y'all wait?
I have long since kind of put my stamp of disapproval on this. Like, I think Taylor Sheridan is a fine writer for his genre, which is not wartime movies. I don't think. I'd have to look through his filmography. I know he's famous for Yellowstone. However, I won't doubt him as a writer. I think he can pull it off. Peter Berg is known for making one type of movie, and it is war type with Mark Wahlberg. Like, he did Lone Survivor. I think Patriots Day was okay. However, it's just one of those things where it's like, if you don't do it justice, it's very, it will be such a, there's no point. Like, if you're not going to do these characters justice, I mean, think about the backlash the remakes got when, like, Ghost, he looks derpy with his mask because they changed how it looks and some of the story changed and people are like, why? Some people liked it, but most didn't. So it's just one of those things where it's like, I don't have a lot of faith in Peter Berg specifically as a director. He doesn't like the video games. He may openly made fun of people who played them, and now he's adapting one of the most popular video game franchises that's ever existed. So, and he's co-writing it, and somehow Mark Wahlberg will be in it, and it'll be the same thing he's done 5 times already. He did Hancock, which was good, but
arguably, I want to know how that decision's made, because how are you going to hire the director and the co-writer who has openly just crapped on the IP you want them to do? I don't care about his credentials. I don't care that he does war movies, and I don't care that he's big buddies with Mark Wahlberg. It's the fact that, like, hey, Ryan, I want you to direct a slice of life anime after you just said you hated him.
Yeah.
So, or like, Ryan's asking me to do a horror film. I don't know jack diddle squat, and I don't like horror. Sure, I'll do it, Ryan.
Yeah.
Why even take the job? Both sides, both thinking, right? Like, you're not going to, I wouldn't take a job I've openly said I hate. I don't like cleaning out dumpsters. I guess I'll do it because you asked me to. I told you that I didn't like to do it, but I guess I'll do it. I don't know. Is it money? It's got to be just strictly money thing.
It's a paycheck. And again, it in terms of film, it is it's something he's done similar to, right? But I was explaining this not long ago. It's like the Modern Warfare, the story arc following Task Force 141 as they're chasing Makarov and the person he replaced after the first Modern Warfare, all the way through McTavish becoming Soap and the introduction of Roach and Ghost, all the way through the last Modern Warfare when you introduce Yuri, which I will openly say it should have been Nikolai. There never should have been a Yuri. It just should have been the pilot that they had been with since the beginning. But we won't get into that. The point is, if you're adapting that story or you're telling a story within that, right, and you're bringing that forward, it has to be done because it has to be done with so much care and so much respect. And this guy has openly said he does not respect where it comes from. And that's, again, to your point, that's just so problematic. And so it just, I hope beyond hope that I'm wrong, because it's got it's got so much potential to be a really cool series. I think it should be a series more than a movie. However, it has the opportunity to be something very unique, and I want to see it succeed in the worst possible way because of what I grew up with. But alas, you never know.
And I guess that kind of rounds out our what you should know before you go. And we've actually been doing something new. We've been doing recommendation of the week. So it is my turn. This is the recommendation of the week. I hate to say it, I only really watch animes. So my girlfriend and I have been watching this really good one. It's kind of one we turn on and can do something else, but we do learn a little bit from it. It's called Cells at Work. It is like caricatures of different cells in your body, and when your body gets a cut or like you have a stomach flu, there's a bacteria, you get white blood cells, red blood cells, T cells. Like you learn, I guess, all kinds of different cells in your body and how they combat these bacteria. And it's a level of slice of life. It's goofy. The main character is kind of annoying. It's exactly what you would think it is. But we're in episode 6 right now, so we've made it that far. That means something. But yeah, it's kind of gory. It's bloody. It's like a fighter level, because like they have to kill the bacteria, and for some reason the bacteria bleed blood. But there are recurring white blood cell characters, and those are probably my favorite, because if there's a bacteria, they just like dogpile it. They're like hut, 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 and just like they kill it immediately. They just jump on it. That's their job, white blood cells. So cells at work, give it a try. Let us know what you think. And that's our show. Ryan, you want to let us? Give it back. Take it back.
I will be back next week with my regularly scheduled hosting. Thank you guys so much for watching and for allowing us to do this again week in and week out. Sorry for the stumbling and bumbling. We're under kind of a state of transition and flux, and on top of, again, all the aforementioned scenarios that cause us to have to take other roles than our normally scheduled programming. So, but regardless, thank you for being here. Thank you for allowing us to do this, and please come back next week so that we can give you the normal episode. This week, Jake, everyone give Jake his flowers. Everyone be nice to Jake and clap, because Jake actually did a fantastic job with a last second transition into hosting. But with that out of the way,
everybody comment down below that you hated it, so I don't have to do it again.
No, don't do that, because he did fantastic, and I want you to know that. But anyway, with that out of the way, as always, this has been Beyond the Screen, and we will see you guys next week. Bye-bye.